There's a 506 Carlton streetcar, and that is following the route that I'll be taking on this one, at least until it gets diverted. And hey there, today is Sunday, November 16th. The time right now is 1:22 p.m. I'm here on Dundas Street West in the city's west end. The temperature is a pretty cool 4 degrees Celsius, so it is certainly starting to get a little bit on the cold side, or get to be a little bit on the cold side, I should say. And this is, again, Dundas Street West. But just here on the left is the western terminus of College Street. It starts right here. I wish I had a better zoom on this camera, so you can kind of see the CN Tower off to the east. And it looks like a couple of 505 Dundas streetcars have been bunched up. But heading in that direction will take you through Little Portugal. Well, as will the direction I'm walking, as College and Dundas run parallel to one another for the most part. Yeah, how annoying is that? That is two 505 Dundas streetcars. That's a particularly annoying streetcar route to take. It always seems to take forever for one of them to show up. And there's two of them bunched up. So I'm heading in a northeastern direction right now, but College for the most part will be east-west. And I'll be walking east all the way to Yonge Street, as on the east side of Yonge it becomes Carlton Street. And look at that, you can see just the tip of One Bloor West. Again, I wish I had a better zoom. This is Lansdowne Avenue here. I took Lansdowne Station, or I took the subway to Lansdowne Station, then I took the bus down and I got off right here and walked over to where I started recording this. There's an out of service streetcar. So the total length of this one will be, I think, just a hair under 5 kilometers or so. So it's going to be a decently long walk today. And I'll be heading through a number of different neighborhoods. Brockton Village, as well as Little Portugal and Little Italy. I'll be walking alongside Kensington Market and the north end of Chinatown, and then past the University of Toronto St. George campus. Looks like the local BIA here is Discover West, College West. Discover West would be their slogan, I guess. There's a Papa John's. I just watched a Will Tennyson video where he was ordering some of the most unhealthy fast food he could find, and he ordered the shakaroni pizza, which was nearly 400 calories per slice. But yes, we have Papa John's here in the Great White North. And because this is such a long walk, I might get my feet moving a little faster than normal. I've recorded different segments of College Street over the years. I think it's been about 3 or 4 years since I did the whole thing. The street itself was named after King's College, which is part of the University of Toronto, founded back in 1827. And College Street itself was laid out in the mid-1800s. And you'll notice the 506 Carlton streetcar runs along it. It's called the Carlton. I think that might be because Carlton is the middle stretch of that streetcar line. It certainly runs on College a lot more than it does on Carlton. It also spends a lot more time on Gerrard Street, east of downtown, than it does on Carlton as well. I think only about 10% of the route is on Carlton. There's a lot of really nice residential streets in this area. But this stretch from Lansdowne, where I started, to Dufferin is often referred to as Brockton Village or Little Portugal. In fact, this is Brock Avenue coming up. And Brockton Village was annexed into the City of Toronto back in 1884. It's kind of historically a working class subway, one that relied on the nearby railway lines. There was a strong Portuguese settlement from the 50s through the 70s. There's still a very strong Portuguese presence in the neighborhood. Here's Brock Avenue, named after James Brock. He was an early landowner in the 1800s. And his family had a very large estate that covered much of this area. There are no bike lanes on this stretch, just these utterly stupid sharrows that serve absolutely no purpose. Cyclists are supposed to be on the road anyways. They just kind of encourage traffic to mosey on up close to cyclists, even though they're supposed to leave a full meter between the vehicle and someone on their bike. There's St. Helen Catholic School. But the streetcar line was, like many lines, originally a horse-driven transit line. It was electrified in the 1890s. There's a Korean church. Bethel Evangelical Community Church. It's a fairly windy day. I think this streetcar runs about every 6 to 8 minutes or so. This is probably the lowest frequency day, being that it's a Sunday. Casa dos Acors. There's a large South American and Latin population in the area as well. I guess you would call those Victorian-style homes. Those would date back to the 1800s. This is Dufferin Street coming up, a major north-south artery. To the north you'll find Dufferin Station and Dufferin Mall. Some neat artwork. And to the south is Exhibition Place. I remember buying a latte from this place during a live stream once. I haven't seen it open the past few times I've been through here though. There's a pottery studio. But you could consider this to be kind of the core area of Little Portugal, although arguably the more prominent stretch is along Dundas Street just south of here. There's a lot of Portuguese restaurants and bakeries in the area. I think it's the largest Portuguese community in Canada. Just wondering what those are. And this is Gladstone Avenue. And a lot of the residential streets look just like this. They're often one-way streets. They're designed this way to prevent through traffic. They'll change directions. There's modal filtering as well used in these neighborhoods. And I'll soon be in Little Italy.
Life is always trying to balance multiple benefits and consequences.
Oh, thank you. It's a neat street, Rusholme Park. I included that in a walk through Little Portugal about 4 or 5 years ago. Spooky yard sale. This is one of the frustrations. You have this idiotic situation of streetcars and mixed traffic with street parking. Streetcar stops, it holds everyone up. But the cars are all funneled into one line because the city thinks it's appropriate to let people park their vehicles on the main street. And you have cyclists trying to slide through. I've been to this place a few times. They've got a really nice patio in the back. It's a Portuguese restaurant. The obvious answer to this problem is just to ban street parking. Another solution is to have dedicated streetcar right-of-ways where pedestrians don't step into traffic. And they get off and on the vehicle and they can go to the next intersection and cross with the lights, thus not holding up traffic anymore. And what really hampers our streetcar network is just how many stops there are. They are far too frequent. There's a lot of really neat little cafes and bakeries here. That place has always intrigued me. Society Clubhouse. And there used to be some really neat artwork here, but it's been tagged over quite hideously. Much better on that side. The street coming up is Dovercourt. And on the southwest corner, or southeast corner over there, is a YMCA that dates back to 1911. They offer a lot of youth and settlement programs for the newcomers to the city. Let's try to make this light. This rule does not apply to children aged 13 and under. We need those everywhere. It should be triple the fine if you've got a motor on your bike. Guy had exactly the same coat I have. Same colors, probably the same size too.
I was like totally taken back.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing. If I wasn't at home.
So around Ossington Avenue coming up, this will transition into Little Italy. There's a newer building. I think that's a very appropriate height with a little bit of a setback for this street. A little bland on the retail front. My little bike shop.
Yeah.
I'm sure that supermarket is much appreciated by people in the area. Specialty cheese. That is a Caribbean Catholic church over there. There's a nursery and childcare center. Some very whimsical, very Toronto-esque art. Reminiscent of the work of Al Runt, if that wasn't done by Al himself. Scottish Public House and Whiskey Bar. Spelling whiskey without the E. It's the Canadian and UK spelling. You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? Shrimp fried rice? With a Alright, here's Ossington. So into Little Italy we will go. A&W is a $9.99 teen burger combo right now. If you're American, our A&W is completely different from yours. They're not even remotely related in terms of the food you'll find other than the root beer. There's a Krispy Kreme. Whereas if you went to like a Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, Taco Bell, they're pretty much one and the same on either side of the border. Hey. Hey. Guy's carrying a bunch of beer. His buddy goes, "That's not bread." Bobby's Cafe and Bar. Looks like a popular brunch spot. You'll probably notice quite a few more people out in Little Italy. Italian immigration surged from the 20s through the 60s. It's not a bad deal for a medium one topping. Just pick it up. And the streets of Little Italy typically fill up with patios all summer. We also have the big Taste of Little Italy Street Festival, which typically ends around Shaw Street, which I'm just about to cross. There's one of the more popular establishments here, Bar Isabel. Revival, an old church turned event venue. A viewer of this channel, Euro Nation, often holds events there. We'll have retro themed dance parties. I've been to a number of them, they're a lot of fun. Jeff from Travel Fund 69 is often there live streaming those events. There's a library on the left. Coast to coast seafood.
But,
no thanks. Coming up on the left is a local institution. The Mod Club turned Access Club turned back to Mod Club. I've seen a few performances there over the years, but I used to go there for the Edge 102 nights. I think Bar Isabel actually serves like Spanish-style tapas, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not that bad, but it's a good pasta.
There's the Sicilian Sidewalk Cafe. This was a Japanese izakaya on the left. Japanese plant-based cafe. This is one of two Italian enclaves in the city. More recent years, Corso Italia, north of here on St. Clair, I think has seen more of an Italian-Canadian population. And many Italian Canadians over the past few decades have been moving into Vaughan, which is a suburb north of the city. Well, that was the case when I was in university back in the early 2000s.
Would you like some tea?
No, thank you. Just offered me some tea. Tipsy reindeer. Hey, they're just moving. They're not open Sundays, apparently. They've sent me a few different bikes. 3, actually. Including my current favorite e-bike, the mini folding e-bike. This area can be fairly busy on a Friday or Saturday night. One of the best places to grab a pizza in the city is coming up. There's the Chin Building. It's home to various multicultural radio studios. They've been serving up an ethnic mix of radio programming since the 60s from this spot. And the Royal Cinema is just beyond it. Originally the Pylon that opened back in 1939. It's done in a neat Art Deco fashion. I mentioned there's really good pizza right over there at Danny's. Highly recommend it. Make a reservation if you can. It can get a little busy. Authentic shawarma and burger. All right. And there's a mainstay in the neighborhood, Cafe Diplomatico. That dates back to the 60s. It's one of the best known patios in the city, and I think during World Cup and international soccer events, a lot of people flock to there to watch the games.
Okay. I can't afford to be anywhere else.
I've been meaning to try Jay's Steak Frites. There's Service Canada. That's where I got my passport renewed. And at Manning Street here, these protected bike lanes appear. And they will continue east until I think Bay Street. Although rather than being elevated, they're merely curb separated. A little bit east of here.
I think it's because of the burger. It'll be quicker. But it has to be him. That's easy.
Someone's blasting the tunes. This is Euclid Avenue. There's a loft conversion. So in a few blocks I'll be at Bathurst Street. And we'll be entering downtown. This is going to be one of the longer walks I've posted in quite a while. There really wasn't anything going on this weekend in terms of events in the city. And this is Palmerston Avenue. I did a walk up here a few weeks back checking out the fall colors. Got these beautiful old lampposts on Palmerston Avenue between here and Bloor. It looks like the trees are mostly bare. Snakes and lattes. You can see the financial district off in the distance. 90s versus 2000s edition. Renaissance meets memoirs. Someone put up a missed connections post over a lot of these utility poles. That seems to have been taken down. There's Sneaky D's. Originally north of here, up on Bloor Street. They've been at that location for a very long time. It's a local watering hole that's quite popular. We got some kick-ass nachos. There's an event space on the second floor. They'll often have dance parties and that sort of thing. And for a while there was a planned redevelopment of that building, but I think those plans might have been shelved for a while. And with the condo market really cooling off, that might be enough to save Sneaky D's at that current location for a while. There's a really neat Starbucks in this building right here. It looks like it's already something else. There's the Midnight Snack Bar. It's a popular spot at night. Lonely Diner. And it's Bistro 422. Very affordable place to get your drink on. Very popular among the college crowd. And the Green Room, which is also migrated down from up on Bloor Street. Cloak and Dagger. I spent a few nights in there. And back around 2005, when I was looking for a place to live with a couple of friends, we checked out a 3-bedroom apartment just south of that old fire hall. But we ended up moving into a townhouse in the St. Lawrence neighborhood. I think we paid $2,100 for a 3-bedroom townhouse with parking. It's kind of ridiculous. But to the south is the very popular Kensington Market neighborhood. And to the north of here is Harvard Village. That's Augusta Avenue. That'll lead you into the heart of Kensington Market. A lot of people waiting for the 506. Back in the early 2000s, this was the place to go if you needed any PC parts. There were a lot of computer shops in the area. Eventually, Canada Computers moved in and opened up a number of locations around here. They've been whittled down to just one right now. On this stretch, that's where I got all the components for a PC build I did earlier in the year. Old K chicken burgers. TNT Asian supermarket that's owned by Loblaws. This is a popular place to grab a slice of pizza. That VR place closed quite a while ago. There's Canada Computers.
No, just increase it.
And it's the Urbane Cyclist. Oh, they've moved again. They're now at 1455 Dundas Street West. That's a worker-owned co-op bike shop. When I moved back to Canada from Korea, one of the first things I did was buy a bike, and that's where I went. I think they were on Yonge Street back then. I picked up a single speed.
Their statements of correctness.
Right, maybe I'll cross to the south side of the street. I think it's a little more interesting on that stretch, or that side, in the next few blocks. That's the north end of Chinatown. Someone taking a picture. That view to the south of the CN Tower. I wish I was walking through Chinatown right now, but We'll be sticking to college. There's the Daniels building just to the north. That's the University of Toronto's Architecture School. $8 Whopper meal on Wednesdays. That's gone up a little bit. Go Grill. Taco Bell is pretty new to the area. And here's something I did not expect to see back in the city. A Panera Bread. They have a location just north of Yonge and Dundas. That was quite huge. That closed several years back. It looks like they're giving it another go. It seems to be quite busy. So to the left, which is the north side, is mostly the University of Toronto St. George campus. There's the Lillian H. Smith Library branch. It's one of the newer library branches, but they did it in a style to kind of look a bit older and more grand. I quite like it. That wind is picking up. So look south down Huron Street. $13.99 shawarma, pop, and fries. These old UofT buildings date back to the early 1900s. That's the official bookstore. Back when I was in university, I went to York, and there was a used bookstore across the street from the university, and that's where I got all my textbooks. Professors would say you have to use the current edition, but there was barely anything ever changed in the older ones. Certainly not enough to make a difference in your performance in the course. An economics teacher was trying to tell us we had to buy the newest edition of a particular macroeconomics textbook that he wrote. Like, no shit, you want us to buy the new one. I remember getting kind of a dirty look from him once when he saw me walking into the lecture hall with an older edition, but I did just fine. And to the north is St. George Street, to the south, Beverly. And Beverly runs down to Queen through Grange Park. mass light cycle. But for quite a while, streetcars were being diverted south due to track replacement work. Just up ahead here. I'll have to see if we see any streetcars going through, or if they're still being diverted. Here's a whole block of businesses. And I think we're quite busy, we're quite popular with the university crowd. They're being victims of a redevelopment.
Like one of those.
This pub hangs on. There's the Fat Bastard burrito.
You know, like final fish.
And King's College there will take you right up into the heart of the St. George campus. Biggest university in Canada and most well known. There's the Smith Social House. They have an event space on the second floor up there as well. I think that's the Lassonde Mining Building. Across the street as I get to McCall. Yeah, this was all dug up, and streetcars were being diverted, I think, between Spadina and Bay earlier. Coming up will be the old Stewart Building, formerly the Toronto Athletic Club, which dates back to 1894, and that one has hit the news recently as there's been a proposal to incorporate it into a new development. It was designed by a very notable local architect, E.J. Lennox, who was behind Casa Loma, Old City Hall, the King Edward Hotel. Those are probably his most notable ones. A number of other grand old buildings. They want to plunk a 60-story tower right onto that lot. All for progress in building new housing, but that's a little too grand to be defacing like that. Looked like that guy was taking a vertical video walking on the street. All right, this is University Avenue coming up. And spring of 2026 for water main replacement. There's the Provincial Legislative Assembly, just north of here. One Bloor West, which we saw near the start of this video at Lansdowne and College. Rising above everything in Yorkville. This area is known as Hospital Row. There's 4 major hospitals right here. And coming up on the right is the Mars Discovery District building. Sounds like that guy just got a flat tire. This was the site of the Toronto General Hospital before it was moved south. This was built in 1913. It's now a research and innovation hub. It is nonprofit. It's a very beautiful old building. It's home to tech startups, venture labs, and different kinds of health sciences company and that sort of thing. Companies. Oh yeah, he did get a flat tire. I heard that. That sucks. Those fat tire wheels. Fat tired bikes are quite heavy and annoying to push, and I think that's a Movin', and Movin' is closed today. Perhaps he should be pushing that on the sidewalk. I heard it pop. That sucks. You have somewhere to go to fix that? All right. We heard the pop right at college and university. I don't really think I'd have anything to help him. I mean, maybe repair and run is open. But we walked by Movin'. They could do it there, but they were closed. And that was way back there. And there's a ban at this time of year, if not already, on e-bikes and scooters going on TTC subway vehicles. Right here's the old Victoria Hospital for Sick Kids. Canadian Blood Services building. But this is Bay Street coming up, the major street north-south. Then I'll almost be at Yonge Street. College Park just on the right. Maybe I'll cross here. So to the south of here is the financial district. There'll be an ice skating trail open in College Park pretty soon. There's a massive development plan for some condo towers to be incorporated into College Park. That was originally an Eaton's department store. It opened in the 1930s. There was a planned 38-story office tower for that spot, but I think the Depression knocked those plans out. There's the Toronto Police Headquarters on the left. It's a really beautiful building. I think that would count as being Art Deco. Later, an Eaton's department store opened just south of here at the Eaton Center. And that resulted in this department store closing in 1977. And there is Fran's, a legendary diner. The original one opened north of here on St. Clair in the 1940s. This is the most famous and longest running location. They've got that famous overhang. It's a 24-hour diner. And here's W Burger Bar, famous for their cheap eats and beer. Look at that, beef burger and fries, $9.99. Too bad. Oh, it's open. Burger and side drink, $12.75. I might be tempted to go there and get some lunch after this, as I wander into their enclosed patio area. Let's look at the beautiful College Park. But here we are, Yonge Street. So on the other side is Carlton Street. So once I step foot on Yonge Street, I can say I've walked all of College Street in this one. There we go, I am all the way east on College? Well, maybe not. Maybe you'd have to consider me to be on the other side of the street to say across the whole thing. There's where a 7-Eleven was for a very long time. heard a little girl say it's snowing, and she wasn't wrong. It's kind of weird to see some light flurries right now. I'm going to hop into College Station. I just started a video from College Station the other night, so I'm going to end this here. I hope you enjoyed this walk along all of College Street from Dundas Street, where it starts to the west all the way east to Yonge Street. All 5 kilometers or so. I look forward to your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.